Massachusetts has some other amazing shellfish to offer. In front of me I have mussels, little necks, and quahogs. Quahogs is really the species, and little necks are just a baby or smaller quahog. I'm going to show you how to shuck a little neck. The little neck's biology is there's two muscles that hold the body together, located on either side of the hinge. In order to get to those muscles, we have to go through basically this tiny little seam here. I have a little neck knife, and this knife has a flat blade. On one side of the blade, it's slightly sharpened. You want to place that side of the little neck like that in the palm of my hand. And it's a good idea, though it's not as critical as with oysters, but to wear a glove, because you can slice your hand if you press too hard. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get into the little neck by finding the seam in between these two shells with the sharp part of the blade. And I take the blade, I find that seam. It's not easy to find, it takes a little bit of practice, but once you find it, you can wiggle. And sometimes you can't get in, and if you can't, that's okay. There's another way to go, and that's by going through the hinge. And what I'm going to do, it takes a little bit more force, but I'm going to wiggle this, and if you can see, it just opened a tiny bit. So I'm going to rotate this knife around, and remember, I have a muscle there and a muscle there. I've just cut that muscle. Now I'm going to cut this muscle over there, and when I do that, you'll see that it'll open up a tiny bit. When it does that, I just twist the knife a little bit, prying the shell apart. Now that it's open, I'll open it with my fingers. Now, there's the clam, but it's still attached by these muscles. So what I do is I start in the middle, I cut that muscle, I'll flip this around, kind of pull it all down onto itself. Again, start in the middle, I'll cut that muscle there, I'll cut that muscle there, make sure it's all freed up from the shell. Then the last thing to do is just twist that top shell off, and there you have it, a shucked little neck. Now the process looks a little bit messy, but again, as you do it, the better you get at finding that seam, and if you can't, that's okay. Like I said, switch it around to the back, just wiggle a little bit, turn the knife into it, cut those muscles, open it up, cut it off, spin it around, put it down on itself, cut it again, make sure it's free from the shell, take that top shell off, and there you have it, shucked little neck. Mussels are such an amazing species, absolutely delicious to cook up. Very simple process to get them ready for cooking. You have, see here, a little beard. This is what keeps the mussels in clusters. In order to take that beard off, you grab a purchase on it and you wiggle a little bit and you pull it towards the front. You need to be kind of firm, but it'll rip off like that. You just clean up any debris, give it a rinse in the water. I like to saute them with some butter, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of white wine, and then you can throw some parsley, some tarragon, any herbs are in there. Just let them steam for about 4 minutes till they're open, nice and plump. You have a wonderful little mussel dish.